Hey guys, what's going on? It's Uncle Tone. How are you guys doing? Today I'm going to have kind of my full review for you guys on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. This isn't going to be so much of a review as it is kind of a features overview and my thoughts on the Note 2. Particularly in comparison to iOS versus Android. A number of you guys have emailed me and sent me questions and stuff and wanted to know my thoughts on the Note 2 versus the iPhone 5. A lot of you apparently are like me and have gotten tired of iOS and are considering switch over to Android. So this will be part of the reason for this video as well. One of the things I address in this video as well. We're going to start off with the specs and everything, and then we'll go over just a few of the features of the Galaxy Note 2. There is no way I could cover everything in one video without making this video 30 minutes long, which I don't want to do. I really hope to keep it under 10 minutes. So without further ado, let's kick it off with the specs. We've got a quad-core Exynos processor at 1.6 gigahertz, so you got plenty of power under the hood. You got 2 gigabytes of RAM, so there's plenty of RAM on board. A 5.5-inch HD Super AMOLED display at 1280 by 720, which results in a pixel density of about 265 pixels per inch. Not Retina quality by Apple standards, but is still very bright, very crisp, very clear, and I didn't really find myself wishing it was higher resolution. Everything still looks great. It also packs a 3100 milliamp hour battery, which results in some absolutely fantastic battery life, which we'll get to more of in just a second. Inside here, you can also see that it does have a micro SD card slot here in the back with expandable storage. It supports up to 64 gigabytes. I have a 32 gig card in there right now, which gives me, this is a 16 gigabyte device of onboard storage. You can also get it in 32. So basically, you can get up to 80 gigabytes of storage on this device, which is pretty phenomenal. I don't really know what you would need 80 gigs for, but you know, technically it is possible to do so. So there you go. That is pretty much the specs of the phone itself. We're going to start off with one of the main features of the Note 2, and that is the S Pen, which is located right down here in the bottom right hand corner of the device. Sliding the S Pen out immediately launches Page Buddy with your S Pen apps, which is pretty cool. The first time you launch S Pen and use the S Pen, it's going to give you a kind of a help menu tutorial thing, and I highly recommend reading through that, as well as there's an app in the Google Play Store you can download that will kind of walk you through some of the features of the S Pen, of which there are a ton. Again, I can't begin to even show you all of them. For example, number one, you can see there's a little button here on the S Pen. If you go ahead, hold that down, you can screenshot stuff simply by drawing an outline around what you'd like to screenshot, and then save it to your clipboard. Just one of the many things you can do with the S Pen. You can also, of course, take notes with it. It does also support handwriting recognition. So, you know, if you're sending a text message or something, you can, you know, use handwriting recognition as well. So it works really, really well. Clicking the little clicker here while you're doing this enables eraser. Where is it? Where the heck is the eraser? As you can see, I am still learning the S Pen. There is a ton of stuff, as I mentioned, that you can do with the S Pen. I have primarily been using Evernote as opposed to S Note, simply because Evernote syncs across all of my devices. So I can have Evernote installed on my Mac as well as my phone, and my notes will sync back and forth across it. Evernote is fantastic. If you drag down here from the notifications bar, you will see that there are a number of S Pen apps that come up here, including having the ability to launch shortcuts right from there. If you go like that, you can create your own custom shortcuts, and that will launch Evernote for me. Cool beans. So again, a number of really awesome things you can do with the S Note, as well as Idea Sketch is also built into here. If you're taking a note or something and you wanted to insert an image, you could simply write dog on the screen and it would insert the image of a picture of a dog into your Note. So there are a number of really awesome things you can do with the S Pen, including photo editing. You can also use it in the camera application for editing photos and all kinds of stuff. There's just a ton of features you can do with the S Pen. Okay, cool beans. Let's go ahead and move over to the camera application. Launching the camera is super fast. As you can see, it loads up right away. There is very, very little lag on this phone at all. Probably mainly because of that quad-core processor and the 2 gigs of RAM. Everything on this phone runs really, really quick. At no point during the past month did I find myself wishing that the phone was faster. It is very, very quick, very zippy, and very fast. Here in the camera application, you can see we have a number of extra features. We can turn it around to the front-facing camera. There's my camera. Hi! And we can also use the back. You can have flash and exposure settings and, you know, add filters to your photos. You can post them to Facebook and stuff like that, Instagram and stuff, right from the photo application itself. Taking a picture is pretty much instant. There's zero shutter lag. As soon as you hit that button, it takes a picture. It also features burst mode, which allows you to take a number of shots all at the same time and then select the best one. Panoramic features. There's a bunch of stuff built into the camera application itself. The camera picture quality, I would put right up there with the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 5. It does suffer a little bit in low light conditions, but generally speaking, it takes great quality pictures, as good as you're going to get out of any other cell phone anyway. So there you go. Let's go ahead and move over to the battery life. As I mentioned earlier, this phone does feature a 3100 milliamp hour battery, which is absolutely mammoth. It is double the capacity of the battery in the iPhone 5, which I believe is 1450. So it is a mammoth battery. Some of that power you're going to need to push the display on this 5.5-inch HD Super AMOLED display. That'll use a fair bit of juice. But the battery life still results in a very, very awesome battery life on this device. As much as I use this thing, and I would use it a lot every day, you know, sometimes 6 to 7 hours of usage with the screen on, I still, at the end of the day, would usually end up with about 30% battery life. I am a heavy user. I will admit I'm checking email and Twitter and posting and, you know, all kinds of stuff, checking out websites, watching videos, all that kind of stuff on my phone all the time. I'm a heavy user. And if I can make it through a full day and still have 30% battery life left, that's some pretty fantastic battery life. So there you go. Battery life on this is some of the best battery life I've ever seen on a phone. Having said all the good stuff I've said about it, not all is quite perfect. There are a couple of nitpicky little things that I found with Android and this device in particular. I don't miss a whole lot of features from my iPhone, but one I do miss is iCloud and Photo Stream. The iCloud is easily fixed. There's an app in the Google Play Store that syncs your calendars and your contacts with iCloud. It's 2 separate applications, one for calendars and one for contacts. So that works just fine. It kind of solves that problem. The other one being Photo Stream. You can use Dropbox, and I did get 48 gigs of free Dropbox space when I registered my device with Samsung. So there you go. Yeah, you get a free bunch of Dropbox space, and that works for pictures, but it's just not quite as simple and easy and smooth as Photo Stream. So there you go. Those are the only 2 things I really miss about iOS. So there you go. The other little nitpicky thing I kind of found with this is the device itself is great. The hardware is great. However, they did kind of skimp on the headphone jack. The audio quality out on the headphone jack, I think they may have used a slightly cheaper sound chip, something like that. The bass isn't quite as thumpy and punchy. It doesn't sound quite as clean and quite as crisp as some of the other phones that I have used. So the audio quality out on the Note 2 from the headphone jack, it's still good, but it's not as good as it could be. So there you go. The speakerphone here on the back is much the same. It is nice and loud, but it could be a little clearer and a little crisper. Again, these are just little nitpicky things. nothing's really going to be a deal breaker if you're considering this phone. I do still listen to music on this all the time, so it's not really that big of a deal, but it is worth mentioning. Cool beans, guys. So there you go. To sum everything up, basically on my experiences of switching from iOS to Android, the 4.1 Android Jelly Bean update, which I don't have the multi-window feature yet again because I'm still waiting for 4.1.2 here in Canada. This phone is still using 4.1.1, so I don't have the multi-window update yet. I'm looking forward to trying that out. But, you know, as far as switching over from iOS to Android, this is a great phone. It's probably one of the best phones that I have ever used. It is big, so I will say that if you're considering getting this, definitely try out a demo unit in a store or something first. Most stores have demo units sitting around that you can hold and kind of get a feel for the phone itself. Adding a case to it, again, adds a little bit more girth, and it does make one-handed operation rather difficult. I have very large hands. I wear extra large gloves, sometimes extra large if they're a bit on the loose side, but usually double XL gloves. I have very big hands, and so even me, sometimes using this phone, it's difficult for me to reach down here to hit the back button or something. You can enable one-handed operation in the menu settings, and that makes typing much more easy. With one hand, it kind of cants the keyboard over to either this side, the left or the right side, and it makes typing with one hand easier. But sometimes it is difficult to reach down here with one hand and hit the back button. So again, just little nitpicky things. You know, if the size is going to be a deterrent for you, then, you know, probably the Galaxy S3 might be the way to go. Maybe hold out, wait for the Galaxy S4, something like that. But I was really looking for a device that would give me Android. And I wanted one of the best Android devices that was on the market right now, which, you know, kind of puts you in the neighborhood of the S3 or the Note 2. I went with the Note 2 mainly because I was intrigued by the S Pen functionality. When I first got the Note 2, I used the S Pen a lot. Now that I've been using it for about a month, not so much. But again, I do still use it once or twice a day. Usually, it comes in handy for all kinds of cool stuff like screen capturing or you know, writing a quick note, something like that. There are many uses for the S Pen. Again, I can't even begin to go into all of them in this quick little video. Cool beans. So that's pretty much going to do it. Yes, I love the Note 2. I think it's a great phone. Is it as good as the iPhone 5? Yes. I would have to say it is a fantastic phone. If you like Android, or if you're getting tired of iOS and you're considering switching to Android, the Note 2 would be a great choice. That's pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope I've shed a little light on your iOS versus Android decision making. And don't forget to smash the like button down there if you found this video helpful. Maybe go ahead and favorite it. That definitely helps me out a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box down below, and I will do my best to answer them if I didn't answer them in this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Rock on.